Hey, welcome to another Bible Bike Test videos. We're here in the year 2018 in Marquette, Michigan. I'm here with Mike Ferrantino and Ryan Palmer. Today we rode, among other bikes, the Orbea Rallon.
Rallon.
It's spelled R-A-L-L-O-N. You can say whatever you want. Like if you call it the Rallon, you might as well say quesadilla.
That's dumb. I wouldn't call it a quesadilla. I was poking fun there.
Yeah.
Rayon.
So, yeah, Rayon. So,
But not rayon the fabric. Rayon.
No,
No, but it is pretty silky smooth bike.
it's way silky
Ooh,
smooth.
Segue.
One
Describe.
Reason, yeah.
The spec that we had that Fox, the Float X2 shock on it, which has a pretty wide range of adjustment, which I really appreciated. I found that I usually run bikes pretty fast in their damping, and I was able to run this one way too fast, which I don't always find on bikes, and I was able to find a good midpoint. Sometimes with bikes, I'm finding that I run them wide open and still not enough.
Right.
So I really appreciated that with the bike, and it made it feel, since I was able to make it really light in its damping, I was able to make it feel really silky smooth over those bumps.
So that's something that really stood out to me about this bike, is that so many of these long travel 29ers kind of pick a side. Like they're either I'm going to fight my nature of being a big bike and be as playful as I can, or I am going to embrace my inner pig.
And just be a barge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
And this one was neither.
Yeah, absolutely. And that the shock
Surprising.
like way surprising. I saw this come out because last year, 27.5, just kind of another cookie cutter, all mountain 27.5 bike. And this year they were like, no, we're going to enter this super competitive, I think cutting edge end of mountain bike design and do something pretty rad. You can make this bike whatever you want it to be.
Speaking of that, you can actually go ahead and customize it as well on their site, which is pretty rad.
With how many colors? Like
A bunch.
17 colors, and then as many secondary colors, and then decal color options, and
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. You can do. It's similar to like what Trek does with their Project One, which probably more people out there are familiar with. But yeah, it's a pretty cool program.
So that said, it's not just the colors. You can put whatever wheels you want, whatever shocks you want, whatever components you want, but you can get one for about $5,000, and I think it's pretty cutting edge for what you can get for that price point.
for the cutting edge in that, how's it ride? Let's talk about that a bit. We haven't got
really
there
gotten there yet.
No. So
this bike was the bike that dethroned the Slash and Reckoning as this is kind of the ultimate long travel 29er for me, because
Damn.
those two bikes
High praise.
they're pigs. I mean, I don't know, I'm a pig, but sometimes I don't want to live with myself. Like, this is a bike that you can live with. It is super capable, but I mean, really, I didn't feel like it climbed any worse than a lot of the 29er trail bikes.
it didn't.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it really did. It climbed very well.
Yeah.
One of the first rides I went out on was on this bike, and it was just like as an exploratory ride around the area, and we're doing all kinds of we were off our normal loop, which our loop had some pretty gnarly stuff on it, and I was on basically a cross-country ride, and this bike was phenomenal. I mean, it was way more nimble than I thought it would be for the travel that it has. It's a 150 bike rear end with a 164. It should be a big, heavy, sort of unwieldy sort of a bike that only comes to life on these steep downhills, but it actually does very well in all terrain.
I normally run into a bit of a roadblock with the 29-inch wheel size when you get up around 150 mil travel or more.
Me too.
And a stem that is a couple millimeters ahead of the steer. So it's 65.5 degrees in the higher of its two positions. Those are numbers that to me are reaching the end of what I consider comfortable on a bike that you could use for all-round use. And as much as this bike felt like them, like it's long, it can be a little waggly when you're going super slow, but it was still very pleasant to climb, and it was fast and fun to ride downhill. It was super stable, as a bike like that should be when you're going really fast, and it didn't get kicked off its line. The suspension worked real well, but it was also, paradoxically, it was playful. It was fun.
Yes.
You could move it around. You could shift it offline. You could, some of these bikes in this size and this range, if once they're committed to a line, you can't get them off it to save yourself. I can't. And you didn't need as much muscle to get this thing around. At
Yeah.
the same time, it was beautifully mannered when you were going fast.
It's a well-balanced bike, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
I'll admit it's not quite as playful as something like the Transition Sentinel. Like that was like
Less travel.
Yeah, less travel.
Or the
uh,
Marin Wolf Ridge. Similar travel, but a much different philosophy.
Absolutely.
I don't know. Out of those two bikes that you guys just mentioned, this one I prefer the Orbea
I totally
over
think
those
this is a
two.
better bomber, but then compared to, say, a bomber like the Process 153,
Yeah.
this bike's much more playful.
Much more playful, yeah.
You know, from a brand that I haven't really seen much from.
Yeah.
Like, man, look out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think
Really
this is the
surprised by
biggest
this bike.
surprise of Bible this year.
Yeah.
Was this bike
You.
for me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, if you don't want to miss out on any other surprises, make sure to subscribe to Bike Magazine on YouTube.